Welcome, guys and girls, U.S. Virgin Islands, everyone at home and abroad. How's everybody doing? Chess fans everywhere. Got a nice game here to look at, another modern defense Queen's Pawn opening. And let's get right to the action, boys and girls. Let's learn something today. If you've selected this video, you've selected my own personal games. Colin Heim with the FIDE Online Arena, World Chess. And we are now, yes, looking at more solutions to games with like modern defense, Queen's Gambit, Decline, Sicilian defense, as we see in this playlist. Guys, if you scroll through and look at some of the options to take a look at, there are many games of Sicilian, Old Sicilian, and many others within this realm of opening theory. I suggest everybody take a look at all of them. If you love chess and you want to improve your game over the board or at online. So d4 in this position, guys, your host had the black pieces. So g6 now, going for modern defense. c4, e6. You don't have to develop the dark squared bishop just yet. e6 is also good. e6 is a book move as a response to d4 and c4. And now knight f6. Okay, so this has all been seen before. Knight f6, all main lines. Now bishop g7. Fianchettoing the kingside dark squared bishop. And e4. Semi pawn wall, guys, is nothing to be too afraid about if you have black pieces here and you know what you're doing in this modern defense. Let's find out how to take care of this if you guys want to follow along and pay attention. And this is how you do it. Knight to c3, so now both knights are developed for Team White, and just a6. So don't worry about the knight hopping somewhere up to like b5 square, for example. And then actually the engine likes it if the king's knight hops over to g5. But that was not played in the game. Instead, we saw the most recommended move played by the engine. My opponent played probably the best move. And the best move in this position, guys, is bishop to g5. Yes, that's correct. h6 now, the best response by black. Asking, well, are you going to capture on e7 here? And that's exactly what was going on in this particular match. So in this realm, black captures on e7 with the queen, not giving up castling privileges for black. And now d5. Okay, so what to do when your opponent now attacks your e6 pawn, and there are 3 center pawns here for white. But one of the best responses is just to take. And after takes and knight takes, you guys find the best move for black in this position. Get into a little virtual analysis now, a little side theory while we're here, guys. Thank you all for joining. It should be obvious if you look at the board and you just use your eyes. The best move is obviously queen captures on e4 with check, and black is now up a full pawn. And perhaps the best move in this position now is just putting up the bishop. And in doing so, now black can go for this line. Not moving the bishop, but instead just either moving the king now to d8, which is probably the best move in the position. Now protecting the c7 square, rather. Right, the c7 square. Okay, so that was not played in the game, guys. Instead, your instructor played the cool move, queen to d6. And this is, by the engine, either a really good move. Remember, guys, when it highlights the squares, when it highlights gold with this Fritz engine, ChessBase India platform, virtual editor, gold means either it's a really good move or a really not so good move. So the engine had more time to think, and it said it didn't like queen to d6, but let's go further. In this game, my opponent played b4. Wow, so now the Fianchetto dark squared bishop is allowed to capture on a1, but the engine says that capturing on a1 now is a horrible move, so allowing black to fall for this is very bad. Let's see what happens if white plays correctly. Bishop captures, queen captures, and yes, now guys, do we see what happens? H8 rook is under attack, and where to put the king. And remember, we still have to look after the c7 square, as the knight is threatening a royal fork So what to do in this position? Well, there really isn't much to do. If you decide to castle here, then that means that's coming with check. And now after, yeah, you can't move the king to any good square because it's always a discovered check now. Right, so this is terribly, terribly lost now for Team White. Excuse me, Team Black. So now White can go up in exchange and, well, not up anything. Actually, this position looks pretty even. So had this have been played, I actually would have been very happy with my position. Even though I'm a little undeveloped here on the queen side, White can continue with something like bishop to e3, and after that, knight to c6. And I actually like my position here, boys and girls. I am not afraid. Say it to yourself, guys, every time you wake up in the morning and go to play a chess game online. I am not afraid. Yes. Well done, guys. There's also a b4 pawn there, and now the bishop is under attack. Okay, so that went really, really well, despite the engine saying that I was basically set for doom. I showed there just how to handle the situation very amicably, or easily, as defined in English. Okay, guys, so in the game we saw just knight captures on c3 now, not queen captures. And now, guys, find the best move for black in this position. It should be somewhat obvious. Without looking at the algebraic notation down below, just find the best move for black. Almost 7 minutes in here, guys. What's the best move for black? Yeah, just captures. Now get rid. Black is up a whole rook. Not a whole rook, but up an exchange. And after partner here from Italy or Greece, one of those places, captured with a knight into d1. Now just short castles. And now black has castled before white. The light squared bishop is still undeveloped. So my opponent in this position played knight to c3. Continuing the game now. This is the game we're looking at. This is what really happened. And bishop to d3. Now getting ready to castle. Rook to e8 is a good move. Now pressuring f5 square. Or pushing f5 to put more pressure on the e4 square. Yeah, short castles by my opponent, and now just a5. And as a response, b5 by my opponent, and now b6, offering the b6 pawn. And let's try to understand, can you guys kind of grasp, maybe, if you can, just try to find out why I allowed c takes into b? Is there a reason for that? Well, after c captures on b5 and knight captures on b5, can you guys find the best move for black in this position? I'll give you a hint, it's that green square. 3 white squares on the diagonal away. That is the best move. That is the star move for black in this position. So now, obviously, if white goes for this, which is maybe the best move. Now the engine took some time. Well, then bishop captures, and after, yeah, let's just say something like knight captures now, and bishop captures. Now the knight is under attack. Knight goes back and attacks the other rook, and now the best move in the position is just rook to c8, and now there's more pressure on the knight. Where is the knight going? Well, it's still protected by that pawn, so maybe, yeah, white could play a move like this, and yeah, after captures, and just try to find out how to defend this position for black. Now white has double pawns on the f-file, and black has uneven pawns, or split pawns, but this is still defendable, even though that there's a passed b-pawn here. This could still be handled pretty easily. The knight doesn't really have any good squares to go to. The rook cannot capture on d7 as it's still defended by the b8 horse. So we saw none of that in the game, just more virtual analysis for everyone. And in the game, we saw, right, actually we did see, right guys, just going for that forking square. The rook fork, knight c7, bishop d3, rook d1 now attacking d3 bishop. And bishop captures on e4, and now knight captures on a1. Guys, stop the video and find the best move now for white. Should be somewhat obvious. obviously capturing the e8 square. My opponent here probably didn't take a look and probably just decided to take any random rook. He maybe forgot that the bishop was actually protecting this diagonal, and this is what was played in the game now, bishop on a8, so he just forgot. White could have rebalanced the play and just having captured the e8 rook, and the material would have been even and the game could have continued. However, in this position now, as we notice that black is up a whole minor piece, black has a bishop for no compensation, a pass pawn, and a better kingside majority. So in this position, my opponent played rook to c1, and this is the end of a chess game. Okay, knight to c6, rook to b1, and rook swinging over to b8, now just putting more cover. It doesn't matter what happens, the b pawn will be lost now. There's just too many strong pieces here on the queen side that could just easily defend, so my opponent just decided to push. Conceding the game here now, black is +3, up a whole bishop, a light squared bishop, maybe even like +4 in this position. And now a4, just attacking the b3 knight, and now the knight hops over to c5, putting pressure on the bishop, backing up. You guys should be able to win this. Force captures on a4, but now, after knight to b4 attacking the a2 pawn, you guys should be able to find out how to win this now easily. As a matter of fact, yeah, let me just leave this up to you guys now and maybe set this up over the board and find out how to just take care of business here. Let me hide the notation there from you guys. Okay. Well, everyone, well done. Congratulations for making it 11 and a half minutes in. Your host, Colin Heim, with US Virgin Islands Chess at Home and Abroad, with another short segment from the FIDE Online World Chess playlist. And I love sharing my games online with you guys, just to show black proofs in modern defense, some white games as well, mostly Sicilian defenses. We did a semi-Tarrasch variation. You can scroll down below and see that in the playlist. Much more to come in the future, as always, and take care. Happy holidays. See everyone on the other side with much more to come. Take care. As your host signing off now. Bye-bye, guys.